The Mars rover Curiosity made a pretty big discovery this week, evidence that at one time there was fresh water on Mars that could have supported living organisms. This is the first confirmation that there could have been fresh water on the red planet. And it no doubt comes as good news to Bas Lansdorp, because while Mars today is an extremely hostile environment, Bas is hoping that it could one day be a little more hospitable, as it might have been billions of years ago. You see, Bas is the guy behind a private space project called Mars One. He's working on sending astronauts on a one-way mission to Mars in 2023. That's right, one way. As in you fly there, you land there, you live there, and you die there. We've reached Bas Lansdorp in Hilversum, the Netherlands. Hello, Bas.
Good morning, Brent.
So, Bas, you want to send people to Mars, but you don't want to bring them back. Explain to me why that's a sellable point in Mars One.
Well, actually, our goal is to send humans to Mars and settle mankind on the red planet. And we can only do that with current day technology if we forget about the return mission. The technology to get humans to Mars and keep them alive there exists. The technology to bring humans from Mars back to Earth simply does not exist yet.
So when you sign up astronauts to be part of Mars One, what are you going to be looking for? What kind of a person would say, I am prepared to say goodbye to Earth forever?
Well, it's the old-fashioned explorers that we will be looking for. And back in those days, when these people crossed the ocean to Australia, to the US, and of course to Canada, a lot of their friends probably also said, "What are you doing? This is crazy. You're going to a place where there's much less healthcare. You don't know what you will find exactly. Why are you doing this?" And it's the kind of people that take these kinds of trips. That's the people we will be looking for.
What are you going to be looking for when you are trying to judge the character and the mental ability of the person that you want for an astronaut?
We have a good team member in our team. His name is Norbert Kraft. He's worked at the Japanese Space Agency and at NASA for crew selection for astronauts. And he has pointed out that the most important thing is not the medical skills and the engineering skills. The most important thing is they need to be the kind of people that you and I want to be stranded with on an uninhabited island.
So movie stars and good cooks.
Well, maybe not movie stars, but they need to be the kind of people that are at their best when things are at their worst. They need to be utterly dependable. They need to know when to lead and they need to know when to follow. They need to be people that are very good in groups. All the other skills, like the engineering skills, the medical skills, and the skills to grow your own food, we can teach them that because we will train them for 8 years before they depart.
And right now, you will be beginning this year to look for potential astronauts. But in advance of that, have people come up to you and said, yes, I would be interested in this. I would consider this.
Yes, a lot of people have already reached out to us. We've received emails from more than 100 countries, from more than 8,000 people from all over the world, ranging from very old to very young, men and female, highly educated, low education. All kinds of people are already contacting us because they want to go to Mars.
That's incredible. Now, what is your plan, Bas? I want you to explain to us why you think this can work.
Well, it can work because the technology that we need to do this is already existing. And it can also work because we have a good way of financing this. The cost of a one-way human mission to Mars is about $6 billion for the first 4 people and $4 billion for every crew that we send after that. And that sounds like a lot of money. And of course, it is a lot of money. But imagine what will happen when the first humans land on Mars. Literally, the whole world will watch. And the value of having the whole world's attention is enormous. At the Olympic Games in London, they had a revenue of more than $1 billion per week just because the world is watching, from broadcasting rights and sponsorships. So imagine what the value will be of sending humans to Mars. It's easily enough to finance what we want to do. Humanity has explored the Earth. 10,000 years ago, we've populated the last continent, and since then we didn't really go anywhere because there was nowhere left to go. And now, finally, 10,000 years later, we have the technology to take that next step. And I think that that's the most exciting story ever.
You're definitely going to need seed money before you can start charging broadcast rights. So what kind of investors have been looking at this so far?
We already closed our first 2 investment deals early January with two smaller investors, one from Holland and one from South Africa. And we're also receiving revenues from sponsors from all over the world. Companies are sponsoring Mars One, but also from donations from people all over the world from more than 50 different countries. And actually, Canada is our third most contributing country in donations to the Mars One Foundation. So that's thank you all for that.
Well, there's a lot of sky here, so there's a lot of people interested in space. Let's count up to 2023, the date that you hope you will finally land humans on Mars. What has to happen between then and now?
The first thing we want to do is to land a demonstration mission on Mars in 2016, which will prove the technology that we need to land all our future missions, including the human missions. In 2018, we will send a rover to Mars that will drive around on the surface and will look for the best location of the settlement. In 2020, we're sending 6 missions to Mars, 6 cargo missions, 2 living units, 2 life support units, a second rover and a supply unit. And the rovers will put all the equipment in the right location. They will activate the life support systems. They will make sure that there's a habitable settlement waiting for the humans before they actually leave from Earth. Mm-hmm. And only when all these things are confirmed, then the first crew of 4 people will depart from Earth in September 2022, landing on Mars by the end of April 2023.
So when the first 4 astronauts land on Mars, and that is now their home probably for the rest of their lives, how do they spend their days?
Well, their days will actually look pretty much like our days, only they will be in the most exciting environment ever. So a large portion of the time especially the first crew will be in construction. So when they land, there is a habitable base waiting for them, but they need to construct that into their new home because this is, as you say, where they will be staying the rest of their lives. Then there's a lot of time will go into growing their own food. It's impossible to keep sending food from Earth to Mars. It would be too expensive. So they're growing their own food. And finally, when these things are up and running, then they will do what they really came for, and that's to explore a whole new planet with the same land area as the Earth, because Mars has no oceans.
And what kind of a team do you have? What kind of staff or experts do you have on board helping you with this at this point?
Well, the Mars One team is now 7 people, so it's still a very small team. And we are supported by advisors and ambassadors from all over the world. So one of our ambassadors is Gerard het Hoofd, the Dutch Nobel Prize winner in physics. Mm-hmm. We have a Canadian professor, Ray Cass, who is helping us in the team building expertise. We have people from NASA. We have the first Malaysian astronaut. A lot of people from all over the world are supporting what we are doing.
Bas Lansdorp, it was great to talk to you. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Brent. It was my pleasure.
That was Bas Lansdorp, co-founder and director of Mars One. He was in Hilversum, the Netherlands.